Okay, so while we're waiting on paint to dry on one of our projects tonight on Pat's workbench, we're going to give you a brief tour here of my workbench and kind of what it includes. So in front of us right now we have one of my tool carousels, and we have fine short tweezers. Then next over here we have pin vices. We have assorted color paint markers. We have fine long needle nose, more assorted paint markers, and I think there's a glue pen in there also. These are black markers. The ones that are not colored are color markers. There's also some fine tips in there right there. Here we have some sprue cutters and some picks. Next we have scribes and um, uh, tools for making holes for starting drills. We have a pin vise that I made. We have open tweezers here that are already open, so I know what they are and where they are. We have a bottle of graphite and some other stuff. Here we have a caliper. We have pencils. And then we're back to the tweezers again. On the upper row, I'm sorry about the camera jiggling around like this, but I have a cat I'm trying to get off of me. We have longer tweezers, some bent, some straight. Bent ones are really great for painting with. Then we have my cordless Dremel screwdriver. I also use it for drilling. That slot doesn't have too much in it, some wood stirring sticks and that kind of stuff. We have our painting tweezers with the stands on them. If you don't have any of these, I suggest you definitely buy some. Those are ideal. Then we're back to tweezers again of all sorts. Up at the top we have a digital caliper and a plastic caliper. Now moving on here, we see our back of our workbench there. We have three handstands for clamping on stuff. One has a lighted magnifier, one has a non-lighted magnifier. In the front here we have steel weights for gluing stuff, and assorted sticks here that I use for scratch building projects or glue stirrers or what have you. Some fine screwdrivers and screwdriver tips for the Dremel. On the back row back there are projects that I need to get to. And we see our watch back there that is stopped at 5 o'clock because, as we all know, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. The little drawer there is a spare drawer head that doesn't fit anything, and that's a catch-all. If I end up with extra parts or something, it goes in that drawer. My cup, my sandstone coaster for my drinks, because there's usually a drink sitting on the table. Plastic glue and kicker for super glue. Then we come to our next little thing over here. We have picks, we have burnishers, we have micro glues, we have super glue, and little toothpick wedges and a Murray track gauge, a couple of rulers and pencils and paint stirrers back there, my wood glue, my micro drill bit holders from the big size here down to the micro size, and those all fit into the Dremel also. The black pad you see here is to put my cell phone on so I can listen to my music. I gotta have music while I'm working. Some people watch TV, some people like it quiet. I need music. My cutter, another steel block for putting weight on stuff, smaller one. This one has a hole in it so you can pound through it. Back here in the back we have a big carousel. These are scalpels. These are knives with blades in them. These are some very nice files. These are just about 36 different assorted files I've come across. These are bigger files that are in good condition. These are smaller files, also good files. Here we have a couple of rulers. We have a pounce wheels here for putting rivet holes. We have an assortment of rulers here in all different scales. A couple of little Plastistrout items that don't fit anywhere else. Vice grips, pliers, more vice grips. We have knife handles that have no blades in these. We have palette knives for mixing paints. When we go up to the top here, we have big paint brushes mainly used for dusting, architect's ruler, multiple scale ruler there in the clear plastic, paint holder for spray brushing, sorted metal rods and plastic rods and stuff like that. Then we come down to the front here. You see that right in the front? That's Neosporin. I suggest that everyone keep that handy on their workbench, because when you have knives and pointy things and Dremel with parts flying and all kinds of stuff, even paper. I got a paper cut last week and I had to put some Neosporin on it. So keep something handy. If you have a toolbox that you carry with you, keep a little first aid kit in it. I'll show you that later. So here we have surgical scissors, curved forceps, light duty forceps, heavy duty forceps. Here we have explorers, dental explorers and such. Here we have more scribes, long ones. Those two are magnetic. These two are not. Plastic sprue cutters, big knives with different blades in each one. This file set up here and there, that is a curved file set for hard to reach locations. Here we have our little benchtop vise for projects you may have. And we're going to go up top here on the workbench. There is where I keep all my numbered drill bits. I have them numbered from 40 all the way through 80, and I have multiples of all of them. That way when you break one, which you're always going to do, you got them. Now what's handy here next to it, there goes the spaceship crashing on the floor. Midwest Lumber makes these gauges, and they have metric and standard gauge on them, but they also measure lumber. And they got them in this. They've got them in these little triangles, the bigger triangle, and they also have a cutting miter box that has them in it. So I recommend those to anybody. This little shay here you see, that is an N&3 shay. It needs side rods and wheels put on it. It's a static model, but it's really cool. On this shelf I keep paint containers or / parts containers. If you're taking a project apart and you want to make sure you keep all the parts for the project in one place, all those containers are good for it. The Testors plastic glue, I don't use that as much, or Model Masterpieces, but I do use it sometimes. Over here we have paper towels and paperwork. Like right here is decimal equivalent of numbered, lettered, and metric drills. This I get a lot of use out of. Then next, this is a handy little thing to take to train shows. Tells you how long the boxcar is, how much it should weigh by NMRA standards, and all that good stuff. Also in here I have things like how fast a train is going, depending on how far your train has traveled. And I have those for different lengths. Take those to train shows. KD charts tell you what the drill guides and for tapping, drilling, and clearance is. Over here I have my hot wire foam replacement cutters and my Klein Tools electrical crimper. Definitely a very useful tool. As we go up top here, we get into stuff that doesn't get used much, but it is handy up here. We have squaring and building jigs here. These are steel, and I use them for weights as well as building. I have them in another thickness and even thicker. on the end when I got projects that really need a lot of weight on them. That's a 3-inch square by 2-inch thick plate. That's a 3-inch round, and that's a 6-inch by about 1-inch aluminum. Then of course I have my foam for locomotives and freight cars, working on them. And you can see I got a couple projects up here. An Atlas RS1, another Atlas Alco, an old brass tank car project, a ON3 tank car, my Northwest Shortline Cutter 2 with all the replacement parts, an O-scale boxcar, and a Coca-Cola can. That this is being saved because it is the exact right size to fit in the old Walthers beer can tank car kit for HO scale, so you won't exceed your clearances. So, with moving down on my workbench here, we're going to go over here to the first drawer on the left. Now over here I keep sandpaper, glues, and glue applicators, sanding tools, Northwest Shortline sanders. These are cool. And the extra sanding belts to go on them in different grits. Micro glue applicators. These are really handy. Use them once, toss them. Emery boards. Must have. They're the kind of things when you need to take off a lot of material and you're not worried about how much you're taking it off or how you're taking it off. Emery boards. Easy, cheap, great. Everybody needs JB Weld, as well as super glue. Problem is, those two items tend to leak sometimes, so keep them in a little cardboard box. So when it leaks and they get stuck to it, you can throw it away. I also keep my Loctites in here and stuff like that. Sandpaper is in the back underneath here. More glue applicators, different super glue, PBL brush with interchangeable heads for weathering down the finishes on stuff. More glue applicators, yellow ones. There's difference between the colors. We go down another drawer here, and this is all acrylic paint. In the middle here we have the Badger. On the sides we have Floatable Poly S's. That one doesn't even have a label. There we go. And then on this side we have the older polys. So, but it's all acrylics, water cleanable. Then when we go down to the bottom drawer, which used to be a file cabinet, we have spray paint. Old Floquil spray paint, newer spray paint in model railroad colors. We have dull coat, we have semi-gloss, and we have gloss, as well as markers and full selection of colors, small hacksaw, small coping saw, and an entire drill bit kit. And back there in the bottom, paint thinner and Dysol, because you can't buy that stuff no more, so if you got it, don't get rid of it. Valuable stuff. On this side of the workbench, we keep our stirrers. Wood stirrers here, toothpicks, plastic model putty, eyedroppers, extra glue container tops. We have old McDonald's stirrers. We have Q-tips back here. We have coffee stirrers over here, and I got a bunch of wood ones right there for stirring. This is all for stirring stuff. You know, take it out, stir it, throw it away. Also, I have my labor printer tape backups in here too. So that's what's all in there. Alright, so you see this rag I have here. This is a neat little trick I highly recommend. I cut a little hole in the rag. Some rags come with little tags on them. And I have a nail there in the wall. Well, I just hang up my rag on the wall, and usually I just leave it there and brush my brushes over it, as you can see. But if I need it, I can just grab it, pull it off there, wipe my hands, whatever I need to do. And it's just easy to get to and quick. So we go down to the next drawer here, and this is all enamels, oil-based paints. We have testers here in the front. Some of them are the newer testers. Some of them are the really old testers. But hey, if they shake and you can stir them, they're good. Then we have Floqual. Good old Floqual bottles. If you got that, don't get rid of it. Can't get any more. And if you got the Floquals, you need the guide. Tells you how to mix them, how to do all the good stuff with them, everything. I got a painting chart too that has all the colors on them too. And this is cleaning fluid for the oil-based, and so is this. Keep them in different jars so you don't get them mixed up with anything else. On the bottom here, we have larger bottles of acrylic paints here and here. Then in the front we have glues, we have Elmer's, we have Arlene's, we have Solve Set for decals, we have ACC Accelerator, we have more Arlene's, we have more Solve Set. We just have, if there's oddball glues, they're in this container. Lightning Bond for different stuff, extra bottle for Plastistrut, that's full of glue. Future Floor Wax, great for gluing glass. If you want to put in glass in your model. Future Floor Wax dries perfectly clear, so no glue stains. Aerosol cleaner, electric contact cleaner, those kind of things. Mod Podge, gesso for starting over with a fresh finish. So you got all those there. Down here on the bottom here, we have a part sorter. It was for a drawer or a dresser or something like that, but it's great. You pour the parts into the big container, you sort them into the smaller ones, and you just keep going until you get all your stuff sorted out. Scalpels. Disposable scalpels. Great things to have, absolutely. Be extremely careful with them. They are sharp. They're supposed to be. Bag of rubber bands for holding things together that just don't hold together well. We have retractable knives, a dozen of them. We have an entire bucket of paintbrushes and more markers. Trash can. Nice stainless steel one, because when you throw messy stuff in there, it tends to get messy. So, it's given. Back here in the corner, I have an open spot to plug in anything. I have my paint shaker there, which is electric, so I plug that in. I plug in my Dremel there, that kind of stuff. Down in the bottom here, this container, we have toothbrushes, wire brushes, cleaning brushes for models to get the dust off them and all that kind of good stuff. Back here we have, this is all spring clips. Some of it is super easy. These are the super mini craft clothespins. They're great for clamping together models. Then you got big sized clothespins, metal clamps, all that stuff. Then down here in this box, we get to the really stronger stuff, when you really need to clamp stuff together. So, you got that. And back here, this is also a silverware drawer. They come in assorted colors. It's usually dark for some reason. Hit them with a primer, spray them white. So when you're sorting parts, you can see what you're doing. Then we go up here to my paint rack. Got a couple of clamps on it right there. That charger there is for my Dremel. We have a couple of paint trays there for mixing paints. More clamps. My electric Dremel. My Optivisor. And then you got the paint rack here, which is kind of organized by color, so you can kind of see what it's doing. Over here we have some 1, 2, 3 steel blocks, ones with the holes in them for weights. They're perfectly square, so you know when you're gluing something together it's good and square. On this side we have some more assorted size weights and some clamps. And up at the top here we got some more weights and things up there. So that's all that good stuff. Now, I like lots of light on my models, so I've got that light there shining. I've got that light there going on the ceiling. We're going to zoom around here. We have this light here, which you can bring it right down here and work on stuff with it. And you can look through here and see things really nice and sharp. And if that's not good enough, you can look things through there. And I'm probably not going to be able to focus this because it's too far away, but as you can see, you can get in close with that too. Let's see, and for my workbench, going sideways again here, I got a ruler right on the front of it here. So if I need layout, measure something, I can just put it on the workbench and I know how big it is. No problem. Center drawer. Center drawer, I keep my nut drivers, which are right there. I keep saw blades for Dremels, or for knife handles. I keep bigger drill bits. I keep very small nut drivers here for 00, 0, 1, and 2 sizes. A good micrometer, General Tools. A aluminum miter box with handle and blades. Over here I've got extra knife blades. And when I get over in this section here, this section here has taps and dies with more drill holders, so that when you're tapping, let's see here, we got 256s. You got a whole selection of taps, and there's drill bits in there with them to match. Plastic toothpicks, paper clips, magnifying glasses, shark tape. You know, that razor tool right here. Great to have. Keep a good blade in it. Take it up here when you get stuff on your workbench. Clean it off. Start fresh again. One thing I don't see here that I normally have, a longer tape measure for bigger projects. 440 tap and drill set right there. Glass cleaner, in case your magnifiers or whatever gets dirty. Thin masking tape for paint masking basic models. Bullseye tap and drill jig, 256. This makes sure you get your holes straight. Very handy tool to have. Recommend it. Extra batteries in here for my Digitrax throttles, because you never know when they go dead. So, with that said, I'm going to say that's the end of the workbench, and we will have another video sometime again very soon, covering whatever else, the next section of my hobby room that I can tell you about, and maybe give you some hints how to keep it clean, organized, and all that good stuff. But with the workbench, when you get done with your projects at night, make sure you take containers, Ziploc bags, whatever you need to do, and put all your tools away, all your paints, all your brushes, your knives, all that good stuff back where it goes. And then take whatever the project is you're working on and put it in a box, a Ziploc, a container, and stash it away. That way when you get back to it, whether it's the next day, the next week, the next month, it's all in one place, and you don't have to have 17 projects cluttering up your workbench. Believe me, I've had that for years and years, and now that I finally got past it, it's one of my #1 recommendations. So, we'll talk again next time, and there'll be pictures uploaded tonight as well as this video. Have fun until next time, guys.